I can't even begin to tell you how many illnesses and problems I've had because of stress. It took me many, many years to put one and one together and realize that, oh, it's me who's causing my own problems. Me being a self-development lover, I wanted to cover this topic for the longest time, but I was hesitant to do so. I thought, well, how can I give advice if I still stress? I actually believe that you can only talk about things if you feel like you've mastered them. Well, I don't think like that anymore. So in this video, I will share my journey a little bit with stress and diseases and all of that to really paint you a picture, because that's what I want to do. Paint you a picture of how stress is a human killer. I'm not over exaggerating when I say this. It really, really is. And after I've painted you that picture, I want to give you 4 tips that have helped me. There is no one cure for it. Stress is something that we as people will have to deal with for the rest of our lives, but there are ways to minimize it. There are ways to get better at it. Everything is a skill, everything. And the more you practice something, the more skillful you become. So, me with my long intros, let's get into this video. Let me grab my tea, you grab your tea or your snacks. Let's create a really peaceful kind of environment, since we are talking about how to be more, stress-free and happy. I lit a candle. You can go light a candle if you want to. My story, I've always stressed. There's just some people in this world who stress more, and then there are people who stress less. I definitely know that because my mom stresses a lot and she's very emotional, that definitely affected me, and I learned that because I feel like kids who grow up with less stressful parents are less stressful themselves, obviously, but not always the case. It didn't kind of click in my head up until the age of 19 when, Gus started to really point it out to me that I stress a lot, because the thing is, when it's your everyday life, you don't think it's something special. I thought that stress is a normal thing, so I didn't count it as stress. It was just my everyday life. I don't know if I've touched on this, but in my healthy relationship with food, my most popular video, I talked about how I healed from stomach issues. There is a lot to it that is mental, as in how I developed my stomach issues from a lot of mental stuff I was going through. And a part of that mental stuff was stress. I went to see many different doctors on different things, and how often they would examine me and they wouldn't find anything physical, but then they would say at the end of the visit or somewhere in the middle, but do you stress? Because this could also be stress related. And I got that so many times, and I felt like, no way, that just makes no sense. How can stress, just something you put in your head, something you can't touch, give you physical pain? How can it make you physically ill? And that's when I started to read up on stress. That's when I started to learn that stress is a human killer. And I will repeat that several times, because I want everyone in this world to understand how bad it is to stress and how much it can really, really, really ruin your life. We know that if we put a knife into our stomachs, we most likely probably will die. So we stay away from that stuff. But the reason I think stress is just so sneaky and just the best human killer, here we go again, you can do like a count of how many times I'm gonna say it, is because you don't feel it. Not in at least that type of way. Stress can make you feel pain. Stress can make you feel tired. Stress can make you feel anxious. It can make you feel like your life is always on edge. And that's just the mental side, which is big enough on its own. Physically, stress can cause sleep problems, digestive problems, neurological problems, heart problems. The list just goes on and on. But in short, it causes a lot of horrible, horrible stuff to our bodies. And so when I was doing all of this research, when I realized that I can actually cure myself by stressing less, I started to implement different things in my life that I thought that might help. If I look back right now, like a couple of years back, I can actually see improvement, and I think that's all that matters. I will be probably for the rest of my life prone to stress, it's what I've learned, but I think and I believe that the more I implement different things that help me relieve that stress, I can live a more happy and peaceful life. So with that, here are 4 things that I do in my life, or that I have learned, or that I have understood, that actually help me stress less. The first one is breathe. When you breathe, you inhale oxygen and you bring that oxygen to your brain. And you need oxygen for your brain so that you can make normal decisions, that you can understand what's going on. Basically, we need oxygen. Right, you're thinking, what else is new? I wasted 30 seconds of my life learning something you learn when you're 3 years old. Well, the truth is in the basics. And the thing is, when we're stressing, we often, not always, don't breathe. You will find this tip in many of my videos because breathing is magical. If I feel like something is too much, I take a step back and I take a deep breath. The more you do it, the better it feels. I think at the start it might feel like it does nothing, but try to breathe. Try to breathe as much as you can. Do these little deep breaths for a couple of times, and with time, you will learn that it actually gives you a second thought, and it makes things a little bit clearer. So that's the first thing I do. I think it's quite easy to implement. So for those who don't want to, do too much and want an easy tip, I would start with breathing and breathing deep. Let me take a sip of my cold tea because I always hold them in the videos and never drink them. The second tip is understand that stress is a human killer. The reason I put this as a tip is because you can't change things in your life if you don't see the purpose of it, at least not in a long-term sustainable way. I could have been doing so many things and thinking about, techniques of how to stress less, but if I wouldn't have believed that if I keep continuing stressing in my life, it will kill me or it will make me very, very ill, I wouldn't have changed anything. So this is why this is my second tip that I want to give you. Please understand that it will kill you. It will kill you. Do I sound scary? Because I can say it again. It will kill you. You have to realize that it's the same dagger, it's the same knife in your stomach. It's just happening here. It is happening here, and it will make you miserable and unhappy. You can see how I'm really trying to be dramatic, because I wish someone would have told me this so seriously when I was younger. I wish that people wouldn't have sugarcoated it and being like, stress is bad. You know what's bad? Eating a lot of fried food, and even that won't kill you as much as stress. Unless you only eat fried food, but I don't think, okay, that's off the topic. You see what I mean, okay? Do your research, really learn what stress does to your body. I think we as humans, when we learn things, we understand things, we're more likely to make a change. Number 3 is stop people pleasing. This might seem a little bit different than the first 2, but the reason I put it here is because a lot of my stress came from, well, I need to do this and that, and what will that person think of me? Oh, and blah, 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 blah. No, put yourself first. If you feel like you're in constant stress because what will that person think, what will happen, you're thinking about other people too much, stop it. Stop people pleasing and start putting yourself first. Learn how to be more confident. Learn how to understand what you need, what makes you happy. Stop thinking about other people. Again, a personal tip, might not be the case for you, but I found that for me, the more I build my confidence, the just happier I am. So I'm actually gonna split this point between stop people pleasing and build confidence. And number 4 is gonna be nothing new, something you've probably read about and learned in many articles, videos, and places. So I'm sorry that I'm not original, but number 4 is meditate. I did it quite a lot when I learned that I was stressing. And then I quit for the last year. I was just too busy with my daytime job and my content creation, and I had to lose some stuff. And I quit, and I have restarted doing it, and it's the best thing ever, and that's why I want to recommend it to you. There's no better cure for our mind than absolute quiet. We think all the time, we think all day. We no longer live in, the woods. We don't live close to the nature and gather our own food and stay away from the news and social media and all of that stuff. We live in a very capitalist culture, and we're bombarded with constant messages of things. We are bombarded with information that makes us feel less, that makes us think that we need to worry, that we need to immediately find our passion in life or we will fail. We need to stay young or we'll no longer be, pretty, or we need to have 2 degrees by the time we're 23 or we're gonna miss out. We need to get married. We need to, like so many things we're constantly bombarded with. Meditation helps you to slow down and sit in quiet. And it's amazing how a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, in a 24-hour day can help you so much. So these were my 4 tips. I know they weren't like spectacularly wow. I always say this, I think there is truth in the basics. When people say, oh, how do you stay healthy, or how do you stay in shape mentally or physically? The answer is always exercise, eat well, sleep, don't stress. They are basics, but it is the truth. I hope something caught your ear. I hope these tips help you. I will definitely expand on this in the future and talk more about stress-related things and tips. But this was just kind of an intro to the whole stress thing. Yeah, hope you like this video. I've been babbling a lot today. I will cut it out. Obviously, I always make it seamless, my videos, but there were many times I couldn't pronounce words and I had to redo the intro. It's been a crazy busy day today. It's actually kind of dark already. I really hope that my main message got through, and I wish you a very peaceful and beautiful day, week, month. As always, I wish the most beautiful things to everyone, because the more happy we feel, the more happiness we bring out to the world, and I think that's what we need. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.